Young Philly had always been the life of the party. With his infectious laughter and magnetic personality, he had taken the online world by storm. His skits and music resonated with millions, making him a beloved figure in the digital landscape. But as quickly as he rose to fame, the tides began to turn. It all started with a seemingly harmless video. Philly had been joking around with friends, pushing the boundaries of humor. But one clip in particular struck a nerve. It featured a parody that some found offensive, igniting a wave of backlash. At first, young Philly brushed it off, confident that his loyal fans would see the humor in it. But the internet, as fickle as it is, had other plans. As criticism flooded in, Philly found himself at the center of a storm. Fans turned against him, and brands that once celebrated him began to sever ties. His social media accounts, once vibrant and full of life, became battlegrounds filled with accusations and hate. The laughter that had defined his career now echoed with a chilling silence. Desperate to reclaim his narrative, Philly took to his platforms to apologize. He spoke earnestly, expressing regret and acknowledging the hurt his words had caused. But in the age of cancel culture, apologies sometimes fall on deaf ears. The damage was done. His once bright star was dimming, and the offers that had poured in began to dry up. In the months that followed, young Philly found himself at a crossroads. The fame he once reveled in now felt like a burden. He stepped away from the spotlight, retreating to a quieter life. In the solitude of his thoughts, he reflected on his journey, the people he had let down, and the humor he had sacrificed for likes and views. One rainy afternoon, while walking through a park, he noticed a group of kids laughing and playing, completely oblivious to the chaos surrounding him. It struck a chord within him, a reminder of the simple joy he had once pursued. Inspired, he decided to shift his focus. Philly began to volunteer at local community centers, using his skills to bring laughter and joy to those who needed it most. He hosted workshops, helping kids express themselves through comedy and music. Slowly, he started to rebuild, not his career, but his purpose. As he poured his energy into helping others, Philly found a renewed sense of fulfillment. The laughter that had once been his brand transformed into something deeper, a genuine connection with people who appreciated him for who he was, not just his persona. Years later, while reflecting on his journey, young Philly realized that sometimes the end of one chapter leads to the beginning of another. He had learned the value of authenticity, empathy, and community. And while his career in the limelight might have been finished, his story was far from over. He had found a new way to bring joy to the world, one laugh at a time. As young Philly immersed himself in community work, he discovered a side of life he had overlooked during his rise to fame. The kids he worked with were filled with dreams and untapped potential, and Philly became a mentor to them. He taught them the art of storytelling through comedy, encouraging them to share their own experiences and find humor in everyday life. One day, after a particularly inspiring workshop, a young girl named Aisha approached him. "You know," she said shyly, "I used to watch your videos all the time. I thought you were hilarious. But now, it feels like you're a different person." Philly smiled softly. "I am. Sometimes we have to go through hard times to really understand who we are." Aisha nodded thoughtfully. "I think you're doing something important now. I want to do that too. Can you help me?" Her words struck a chord with him. This was what he had been searching for, a way to connect and make a difference. Philly decided to organize a showcase where the kids could perform their own skits and share their stories. It became a local event that drew families and friends, filling the community center with laughter and applause. As the showcase day approached, Philly felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. He hadn't performed in a while, but the thought of supporting these kids reignited a spark within him. On the night of the event, the room buzzed with anticipation. Parents beamed with pride as their children took the stage, each act infused with originality and authenticity. When it was his turn, Philly stepped up, a familiar rush of adrenaline surging through him. "Hey everyone, I'm back on stage, but this time it's not about me. It's about these amazing kids." He introduced the performers and shared a few funny anecdotes from his own past, interspersed with genuine messages about resilience and growth. The audience roared with laughter, and for the first time in a long while, Philly felt the warmth of genuine connection rather than the weight of expectation. After the event, the atmosphere buzzed with joy. Aisha approached him, eyes shining. "You were amazing. Can we do this every month?" Philly grinned. "Absolutely. Let's make it a regular thing." As the months rolled on, the showcases became a cherished tradition, and Philly found himself more fulfilled than he had ever been during his fame. The kids thrived under his guidance, gaining confidence and honing their talents. Meanwhile, he began to document the journey, capturing the magic of their performances and the bonds they formed. He posted these moments on social media, not for likes, but to share the joy they created together. Slowly, his old fan base began to notice the change. Some expressed their support, appreciating his shift from self-promotion to uplifting others. Philly felt a renewed sense of purpose. He realized that while his career in the spotlight had ended, a new path was opening before him, one rooted in authenticity and community. One evening, after a particularly successful showcase, Philly sat on the steps of the community center with Aisha and a few other kids. They shared stories and dreams, laughing under the stars. It was then that he realized he had stumbled upon something even more significant than fame: the power of connection and impact. Months later, Philly received a call from a local television network. They wanted to feature his community work in a documentary about resilience and redemption. At first, he hesitated, recalling the backlash from his past. But as he thought about the kids and the joy they spread, he realized this was a chance to inspire others. The documentary highlighted not only Philly's journey, but also the stories of the children he had mentored. Their laughter and creativity shone through, transforming the narrative from one of downfall to one of hope and recovery. As the film premiered, audiences were captivated by the genuine connections and the warmth of community spirit. Through this experience, young Philly learned that while fame could be fleeting, the impact one could have on others was everlasting. He had once chased laughter for himself, but now he understood its true value in lifting others up. His career may have taken a different turn, but it was far from finished. In fact, it was just beginning. A beautiful tapestry woven from resilience, growth, and the laughter of a community brought together.